Okay, so all that's fine and good. So now we've got our solution under source control. And what I want to do now is set up the continuous deployment. And what that is, I think it's a super cool feature that demos really well. I'm not sure if a lot of folks will really use it, but what it's going to allow me to do is on check-in, I'm going to actually, with each check-in, I'm going to build the code and I'm going to push it out to Azure every time. So to be able to do that, I need to go out to the Azure portal. And I need to go to my website, and I need to enable continuous deployment. Okay, so I went to my website, and look over here under the quick glance how we've got set up TFS publishing. Okay, and it wants to know, okay, what's the name of your Team Foundation service? And that was my Intertech Azure group.visualstudio.com. I'm going to say authorize now. I'm going to come in and it's going to ask me to accept. It's going to get a list of projects and it's going to say which project are we interested in using. So I want to use my ALM Azure user group project. Okay. Linking to the team project, and within a few seconds it's actually communicating with Team Foundation Service now. And if we go back to Team Explorer and I look at builds, it's magically created this ALM Azure UG underbar CD build definition, CD for continuous deployment. Okay, so I'm interested in taking a peek at what that looks like. So let's edit the build definition. Let's see if we can get this showing a little better here. Okay, so I'm going to run through general tab, defaults are good. Trigger, I want this to be continuous integration. I want to build every single check-in, even though I don't think most folks are probably necessarily using that one. My workspace was fine. Build defaults. Here's something I want to change. I want to say copy the build output to the following source control folder. Okay, so I don't want to mess around with connecting Azure to a local machine. I don't want to configure Azure Connect, so I'm just going to say, okay, go ahead and store your builds in a source control location. And then I need to tell it which one. So we'll store that in the Azure user group, and I'm just going to create a folder called drops. Okay, and then if we go in and we take a peek at our process here, if you've done any work with build before, you're going to notice that there's a new process or a new build definition here for us called the Azure Continuous Deployment Build Definition, and that's the one that's in use here. And let's see, most of this, pretty much all of this was set up, so we're good to go, with the exception of adding the drops. So it already knew which solution I wanted to build. It's going to run the tests in any assembly that ends in *test*.dll. So it's going to detect that I've got a test project within my solution. It's going to execute those tests. And it's going to publish the website out to the ALM Azure UG website that we created earlier. So let's take a peek at how that works. Oh, and retention policy, I pretty much go in here and only keep a couple of these things, but we'll leave it at default now for the sake of time. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back into Solution Explorer. And I just want to make a really simple change to my default HTML file. You remember that previously we were looking at version 1 of the application. What was that? Let's see here. Okay, there's my site URL. Okay, so note that we're on v1.0 here. So if I go back into Visual Studio and I'm going to change that, value, let's say I made some changes. I want to call this v2.0. I'm going to save it. Now when I check it in, that build is going to kick off, and the build is going to include the deployment. So I'm going to go to Team Explorer, and I'm going to go take a peek at my builds here. Notice that ALM Azure User Group CD number 1 in queue. One thing I want you to notice here, because I'm going to build locally at the end here, is just kind of take a peek at the top here. There's no mention of exactly which build machine's being run or anything like that. Later when I build locally, it's actually going to identify my build machine. It's going to say I've kicked off a build on this machine and it's running. So this should take about, it's been taking less than about 60 seconds, or maybe 80 seconds. So each build takes about a simple thing like this. It takes about 80 seconds. Notice the build report's updating as we go here. And let's see, so I do my walkthroughs evenings and weekends, and I tend not to be in queue very long. It's been in queue a little bit longer here, but that's okay. We can hang tight. Okay, so the build completed. I know that because we're green up here. We can drill into a little puzzled. I'm expecting to see that my unit test passed, and it didn't, for some reason, run. But notice, without me doing anything here, we've now deployed version 2 out there. So literally, within a click of a button, the check-in, I've compiled, I think I tested, and deployed the application out to the Azure environment. So that was super simple. Okay, but my contention is that most folks probably aren't going to use that sort of a workflow, and I think maybe a more common kind of workflow would be the gated check-in. So what I want to do here is I want to go change the behavior of the picture model. And essentially what I'm doing is I just want to force my unit test to fail on purpose. Okay, so I want to run a gated check-in and see that things fail. So I've modified the tags logic so that rather than separating by a comma, we're separating by the asterisk. And if I go back to my picture test and let's see, let's use Test Explorer. If I re-execute my test, I should be failing, and I am, okay? So now I'm a developer and I'm not doing my job. I'm not running all the unit tests before my check-in. I try and go cowboy and I check this in. Wait, before I check that in, let's do, I want to change my build definition. So I'm going to go back, home, build, edit my build definition, and rather than using the continuous integration trigger, I just want to do a gated check-in.